Hello, today we're gonna do a outside light, and people have been asking me, how do you do an outside light, and and make it nice, and how should it be done? So this is an open wall, as you can see behind me. The walls are all open, so it's gonna be a lot easier than when the walls are there. Because when the walls are there, it's a whole lot harder. You have to drill through a lot of stuff and get through a lot of stuff to get to where you're going. So what I did first was I opened up the electrical panel. I put in a grommet or a connector, a plastic bushing. And then what I did next was I looked at the outside work that has to be done. So it's a GE panel. So I went and got a GE breaker, 20 amp breaker. I like all my stuff on 20 amps. You really want to put things on 15 amps because you have problems later. And you have to use number 14 gauge wire. And I really don't like 14 gauge wire because it's been known to be a little dangerous. They say sometimes it doesn't take the ampacity, and sometimes they're very confused about the ampacity on it, and 12 gauge is the safest way, and it stops the lights from flickering. Sometimes, you know how you get those lights flickering? So when you use 12 gauge wire, it's a lot harder, especially if you put the 12 gauge on its own circuit. Lighting, you always want it on their own circuit. You don't want it on plugs, because every time you put on a blow dryer, it'll stop that. So here's the light. So what I did was I got the dimensions, the center, and I'm going to transpose it over here. I made my hole, as you can see, right there. That's where I'm going to pull my wire. I'm going to stick a box up there, a pancake box, because it's an outside thing, an outside surface. I'll use a pancake box, which is, I already put my connector on it, a plastic bushing, and these bushings, if you see, when the wire goes through it, it grabs it and it won't let it pull back out, so it won't be in and out, so it's secure. It's one of the safest ways to do this. So then the other thing is, when you're going to do wire, you get Romex. You'll know it's number 12 because of the color. 12 is usually yellow, yellow, and 14 is usually white, and 10, number 10 wire, which is a thicker wire, is so let's look at the wire size. It's orange, so this will be a 14, this is a 12, and this is a 10, and this is like a number 8 size wire. If you look, it's just an example. So when you go to pull wire, that's another very important thing. A lot of people, a lot of apprentices, they get this confused on residential. They pull wire from the outside. They always tend to pull it from the outside. See how it won't come off, how it does that? And that's a bad way to do it. I always recommend that you pull wire from the inside of the thing, of the road. It comes out a lot faster. Here goes, watch. See, it comes out a lot faster, a lot smoother, with less complications. So I'm going to stick my wire inside what they call a secure hole right there. I'm gonna have to make my own hole for this one, so I can pass my wire through it, and it'll be a lot smoother and nicer for it. So I'm gonna get my paddle bit and just drill it through. But when it's done, it's gonna go like this. It's gonna go, now that it's through, it's gonna go to my next hole, which is right there. See that? You pull it up, and you push it up. I always bend it, push it, bend it, push it. And then if I try to pull it down, it won't let me pull it back down because it's secured in there. So then I want to pull a little more, because I want the neutral, you want to land it on the neutral bus bar, which is here, and then the ground on the ground. That is always the best way to do it. This house has no ground here, so I'm using, they have it bonded together, which it really shouldn't be bonded together anywhere else other than the first means of disconnect. Meaning at the main breaker box, back over there in the panel, which is outside, or into a disconnect. That's the only time you bond the neutral and the ground. So that's how you do it. That's how you install the wiring for a light. And the wiring, when you're done, It's gonna go here, and then it's gonna go to the outside where I wanna go outside and install it. So that's me on how to install the wiring for a light and how you install a light. It's very simple, very clear. And if you have room in the panel to run a new circuit to it, I always recommend that. Don't put the lights on another light, because sometimes you get problems and flickering and stuff like that, especially when it comes to LEDs.